you're doing because it remains constant, kind of. It's moving around, but it has its own groove, and these are your lead singers, I guess. Whereas this remains constant. You go. Yeah, you could just do it on one string if you like, but for it to remain, how many people have got that going on with their technique? All right, how many people have not tried this yet? All right, I'm going to give you a little bit, I'll do a little bit of I'll give you some exercises here, real quick. Here's how to build that, apart from just playing, song after song and forcing it out. So what you do, real simple to start with. You might play with a pick if you want to get used to playing with your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll slow it way down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay, then you play a pinch on beat 1. So you're pinching 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Then you play on beats 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. This is basically basic right hand coordination, right hand technique coordination, just to get this happening. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can play on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you start playing in between. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And then the next stage you play on the beat and in between the beats. So 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. Or you can go 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. So you've got basically 8 places to play on the beat or after the beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so you're playing on and off the beat. Are you with me?
Yes.
All right, good stuff. Simple enough. Okay, then you start 1, and so 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Now you start changing the strings. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. I'm going to hit an E chord so your ears don't get tired. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. And then backwards. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Use all 3 fingers. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Backwards. 1, 2 and. This is constant. This is just on the bass string. I'm going to change that now. Now beats 2 and 4 are going to be on the 4th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So it's. And if that's not quite working, you can go back to 1 string here. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Now let's change. Beat 3 is going to be on the 5th string with our thumb. 2, 3, 4. So now it's weaving in and out. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Excuse me. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. So that's just basically a set of exercises that will get you from A to B if you're not used to finger picking. And really, finger picking if you're playing old folk tunes, like. It's a little different from pattern picking, like Dust in the Wind. Because that's not changing a lot. It's kind of similar, but when you're playing finger picking, like. Changing the melody. Are you with me on that? That's how to get from A to B, but that set of exercises will help you. I realize I'm barreling through this, and it's going to take you a while to get from that stage to that stage, but if you haven't done that before, that's a really good way of doing it. Any questions, guys?
Yeah, quick question.
Yeah.
Over here.
Oh, Brett.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought it was.
So, as far as getting in, what got you into the fingerstyle from the generation of players that were coming up? What got you into that, and what were some of the first recordings, and how has it influenced your arranging to where you're at today?
Yeah, I guess it was the first thing I ever learned was a blues. It was a Merle Travis and Chet Atkins record. That was all it was, you know. Kind of just what I was doing with that happening. I mean, I got into that kind of early. I didn't even see what they were doing, but I at least felt the groove, and it was the change. It was just the chords. I just learned those first few chords, but that was it. It was Chet Atkins and Merle Travis. It was Joe Pass, even though I wasn't working on Joe Pass that early, but his playing was certainly in the background. You know, my grandmother had his records. My you know, I mean, I was one of the kids that didn't rebel against, you know, their parents' music. You know, I just kind of gravitated towards what my dad was listening to. I got into it, and I think that is still something that happens every now and then with a lot of people that want to learn musical instruments. You know, their dads play and they get encouraged that way. How many people's parents play a musical instrument here?
Yes.
Sometimes that's going to happen. I got into Django Reinhardt, I got into Flat Pickers, and you know, but it was really Chet Atkins and Jerry Reed. I opened with a couple of Jerry Reed numbers there. Down Home. You can hear that. It's very kind of Ray Charles. It's coming from a lot of gospel and the blues. Those kind of, you know, you've got that contrary motion thing happening, but a lot of blues and gospel licks, I guess he was listening to, because he was growing up around that music. He listened to a lot of Ray Charles, so you can hear a lot of Ray Charles piano licks in Jerry Reed's playing. But yeah, that's kind of what I got into first of all. The one thing about it that is the most important thing is you can play on your own. It doesn't require you to play with a band. That's a good thing to do. I mean, I know that, you know, playing in ensembles is very much, you know, it's all part of being a musician, playing with other people and learning from other people and jamming with other people and sitting in the pocket. It's very different playing with bands than it is playing on your own or playing with a metronome. They're three entirely different things. The metronome is always completely correct unless it's broken, which is not usually the case, but it's always completely correct. But if you're playing with other human beings, they're not always going to be absolutely correct. But if you get somebody who plays with great time, it's going to feel even better than a metronome, because it's going to move around to where you don't, it's immeasurably moving around, but it still feels good. It's kind of going with your heartbeat. I've heard this said about recording sessions. The metronome, the click track, will make sessions go faster, and at least if there's a problem, you can see where it is. Whereas if you get 4 or 5 guys that really swing and are grooving together, there's an energy to it that can't be replicated with a metronome. You can get it real close. Who else has had this experience? There's something about that human feel that is nice. That is better than, you know, a metronome is way better than bad time, but good time is better than a metronome. It sounds weird because, you know, perfect time is better than bad time, but just time that eases and flows back, that you can't really hear it, is better. And that's something I'm always working on, working with my metronome, trying to get my inner clock happening.